So welcome to another fantastic Faena Rose event. I can't tell you how incredibly excited we are for this one. The Bitcoin evangelist, Michael Saylor. Michael, share with us a little bit about what we're going to talk about.
So I'm excited to talk to the Faena Rose Club about the Bitcoin gold rush, how it's going to go for the next 10 years, and how everybody can cash in.
Strap in, get ready for another fantastic Faena Rose event. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Michael Saylor.
This is the first year that a mega corporation, a public company, could start to buy Bitcoin in quantities, billions. I think 2025 is the first year of institutional adoption. This is the first year that they're seriously talking about Bitcoin being purchased by governments. By the time we get to 2035, 99% of all the Bitcoin will have been mined. The last 1% gets produced in the next 100 years. So if you want Bitcoin, you probably want to buy it in the next 10 years. For all practical purposes, it's a capped supply, and the only way to get it is to bid up the price astronomically. Now in technology, if you want to win, you can't miss the next wave. Whether it's personal computers, whether it's the graphical user interface, whether it's the internet, mobile computing, cloud. Right now, everybody talks about AI. If you don't hear about AI, you're probably deaf. But I'm here to talk about what I think is the most compelling next wave, the wave that you can catch. Digital capital is the next wave, and everybody can catch this wave. Today, it is the seventh largest asset in the world. Ever since it started, more than 62% a year. That's just the past 4 years, though. And it is running to the top. It's the most interesting. It's always moving. You can't digitize silver. You can't digitize gold. Most of these other things are just securities. You can't even take custody of your own security. You can't trade those securities on Saturday afternoon. Bitcoin is 4 to 5 times better than the S&P index. Bitcoin's the best asset in 11 of the past 14 years. It's not just the best performing asset, it's the best performing uncorrelated asset. BlackRock is the largest money manager in the world. They have 1,101 ETFs. And the Bitcoin ETF went from dead last to number 13 in 12 months. It turns out that IBIT is the most successful ETF launch in the history of Wall Street. These ETFs are popping up everywhere in the world. You can see these are the global ETFs. They're popping up in Hong Kong and Germany. They're popping up in South America and Brazil and Australia. Bitcoin is just a very elegant idea for how you get to keep your money. But the point that I want to make here is that Bitcoin's the fastest growing alternative investment for high net worth individuals in the world. And it doesn't matter how much you buy. You have the same exact property rights, the same exact asset as everybody else. If the billionaires want it now, they're going to want your Bitcoin in a decade. If they want your Bitcoin in a decade, then the price is going up. It's not going down. You'll always find a willing market for it. I don't think it's unreasonable to forecast that IBIT may very well grow to be the biggest ETF in the world within 10 years at the rate it's going right now. Bitcoin is beating your favorite hedge fund. The bartender, the Uber driver, the aircraft mechanic, they're all buying Bitcoin, and they're totally crushing all of the masters of the universe with their PhDs in finance. The profound idea is I can put $1 billion in cyberspace for all of eternity without a bank in the middle. That is to say, we put money in orbit. Putting money in cyberspace, storing value in a network that doesn't rely on a government, a company, a computer, a counterparty. That's the profound idea. Bitcoin is an asset without the financial risk of your currency, your stock, or your bond, and it doesn't have the physical risk of the real estate or your Picasso or whatever concrete thing that you want to hold. There's a natural progression here, which is intelligent people are moving their money from a more disordered state to a less disordered state. Bitcoin is digital capital. That's the profound idea. And digital capital is just economically and technically superior to physical capital. So in this particular case, the entire world is looking for a place to put their money. If they can't move and leave, then they put it in cyberspace. Bitcoin represents a bank in cyberspace. And when they put their money into the Bitcoin bank, they're getting the same performance, the same protection that the San Francisco billionaire gets. Right? Everybody's equal. Well, Bitcoin's a 1,000-year plus asset. If you're looking for something that you can buy, hold in your family, and give to your grandchildren's grandchildren, Bitcoin is that thing. You don't know where you're going to be living. You don't know what regime you'll be under. There's no bank, there's no company, there's nobody you can trust that'll be around in 150 years. Backed by hundreds of millions of holders, backed by 600 million fanatic crypto people, South America, China, Russia, Africa, everywhere. And it's got real money in it. So this is a very powerful network. Right now it's growing 60% a year. It's been growing 60%. I think that over the next 20 years, it'll go from 60% to 55 to 50 to 45 to 40 to 35. It'll always be higher performance than the S&P index. When people with money, when they just want to park their capital somewhere, then this is just a no-brainer place to put it. Trump, Vance, RFK, Lutnick, Bessent, Ramaswamy, Walz, Musk, they all like Bitcoin. They all support Bitcoin, right? The entire cabinet is pro-Bitcoin. It is digital energy. It is digital capital. It is as profound as electricity 100 years ago. If you figure it out, you can do some good for your community, your family, your company, your country. The future is keep your money. This is not complicated. If you have a bunch of money, buy Bitcoin and keep it, right? Bitcoin is digital capital. The whole point of Bitcoin is strip away the risk. I want orthogonal to all of my risk. So there's a competition here. The first country to print some of its own currency to buy Bitcoin wins. If the US swaps gold for Bitcoin, not only would they actually retire their own debt, they would crash the gold network and they would demonetize all the assets of the Russians and the Chinese. If you want to 10x your money, if you want to take whatever you've got and do 10x, buy Bitcoin. And if you want 100x, if you want to make extreme amounts of money, 100x, 1,000x, if you want to make hundreds of millions or billions, then you buy Bitcoin with somebody else's money. Borrow money from a bank, buy Bitcoin. Start a company, raise venture capital, buy Bitcoin. Take a public company and issue public company stock, buy Bitcoin. Take your hedge fund, raise $1 billion, get a 2 and 20 deal, buy some Bitcoin with it, and get 20% of the upside. This is technology. Don't be afraid of it. Hopefully I piqued your interest, and I just invite you to consider, what's your Bitcoin strategy? And I encourage you to do the right thing for your family, for your employees, for your shareholders, for citizens, for your investors, for country, for the world, for your legacy.